On the 23rd of November 2022, Once and Future was announced as Big Finish's big 60th anniversary celebration. In May 2023, it kicked off with Past Lives, and in October 2023, we saw it close with The Union, with one release being an outlier, Coda, being released in November 2024. We had to wait to see if how it sort of linked with the 60th specials, with this big mystery. Who was it going to be? Was it going to be the 14th Doctor? Was it going to be something completely different? Instead, we got the Fugitive Doctor and the War Doctor and Bernie Summerfield, Vord, Vienna, to name but a few of
It's
the
another shopping list of sorts.
another shopping list. So, after 13 months, Once and Future has come to a close, hopefully.
I mean, I think so.
Yeah,
With all the
definitely.
trouble they've had with this
The
blooming special
CDs.
editions,
Mm,
yeah,
I
I'm
think
not
that'd
too
be,
fussed by them myself.
yeah,
I did go for the special editions, and I like them.
yeah, they're
But
great.
yeah, but I'm not like throwing a fit over the fact that I'm not getting my coder anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean, we've got the
But
download, it's great. Um, we've
mm,
waited this long to hear the story, so what's an extra few months, I guess, at this point? And
yeah,
I guess
it's
big.
just almost a farce at this point, isn't it? Really,
I honestly,
it's
I
like you just have to
expected it.
laugh at it.
I
Yeah.
expected it, and I think we want to put Once and Future behind us. I think Big Finish want to put behind the catastrophe of the physical release of this one for the special editions. But in terms of Coda, um, as a sort of final bit of Once and Future, I think that it was, in terms of Once and Future standard, pretty good.
Hmm. It's definitely an epilogue. Like, I don't
Yes.
think it, you know, revolutionizes what came before. That was very much its own story or set of stories. It built that finale with uh, the Union. Like, that was where you got all your answers, you got your links back to past lives. It all made a sort of sense. And then this is just the after effects of that because the Doctor has been degenerating. That was the premise for Once and Future. And with regeneration, you get that period of time afterwards, don't you? That trauma, that rehabilitation as the Doctor finds themselves. And that's pretty much what's happening to the War Doctor in this, in a way. He's recovering from degeneration and so some of those effects are still plaguing him a little bit. There's no cameos from any other doctors. He's not still flipping through his lives at all while he returns to normality. But he is being pursued by the fugitive doctor. They're pitted against one another here. They're both the lost incarnations. And I think that's a pretty neat idea.
Yeah, it's really
And
clever.
yeah, it's your more standard way of doing an anniversary story, I suppose, with it being, a multi-doctor story.
It's
Um,
given the
but
Rogues a chance for their moment in the limelight, really. Because
hmm,
they're going to be the. It's wrong to say forgotten doctors, but they are forgotten doctors, really.
yeah, they're the doctors that don't quite fit in with the others. They've not
Yeah.
got numbers, and their personalities by design are quite different.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I think that's a rather neat idea. And of course, it's Joe Martin's debut on
I
Big
think that's
Finish,
this is the
which
big takeaway with it, isn't it? I think hearing her getting a glimpse of what her series is going to be like in January, because
hmm,
she really hit the ground running with Lenny Summerfield.
yeah, I think Joe Martin is brilliant throughout this. It's another kind of fugitive of the Jadoon story, in that
Yeah.
she's, in a way, not playing second fiddle to the other Doctor. She has got a bit more to do in that she is a Doctor throughout this. But, it's not her full taste of her Doctor's era. It's
Yeah.
her Doctor in a
Crashing
different
in.
sort of era. Yeah.
Because it's very much War Doctor wants information on Fugitive Doctor, or let's have a little chat. Meet you on the planet Coda, bring an army, we'll have a fight, sort it out. That's pretty much
Yeah.
the plot.
Hmm. There's some interesting elements. I think the way the Vord are integrated is quite neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Benny's role in
You
this.
mean Lenny?
Yeah, Lely, sorry.
Yeah, Lenny
Is
Summerfield.
it? Yeah.
She's great. I think
Hmm.
Bernie Summerfield really stands out in this because she's met different doctors, so she gets the sort of moral compass and the essence of the doctor,
Hmm.
and she kind of can see that there's a little bit missing with these really, that the doctor wouldn't be wandering around with a gun and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it's interesting having her there, who is very familiar with the doctor we all love.
Hmm. And sort of can recognize both of them as the Doctor, but can also recognize that something's not quite right about them too. Yeah, so she's very much the grounding point of this story, I suppose.
Yes.
And yeah, Lisa Bauman's doing a brilliant job here. Yeah, I think there's a good mix of comedy and emotion there with her
Time Ram,
character.
I loved. Oh, a Time Ram. I had a little cackle with that.
Hmm. Yeah. But I think on the whole, it just feels like the Once and Future story, really. Like most of the problems that plagued a lot of the other releases still feel like they plagued this one.
I think it handles the shopping list well. I
Hmm.
think Tim Foley balances that fine. You know, it's not like each shopping list character's just ticking boxes going, we've done that, great, move on to the next one. Now I think they're all meticulously placed and it works
Yeah.
fine.
Hmm. It does feel like it goes by a bit too quickly. It doesn't feel rushed in that sense. It just feels like, it needed more to it.
Hmm.
Like an hour story just wasn't quite doing this one justice. And also, I feel like the villains are pretty weak, near
Yes.
non-existent,
Mm.
and don't really feel like they tie in with Once and Future as a whole. It almost feels like a tease for something else, but it's something else that's not really interesting me. It doesn't grab me, so I don't know quite what they were trying there.
We
But
just get a little tease of Cosmo in it, like, oh, better get back in
mm,
the TARDIS because Cosmo's on my tail.
yeah, yeah, hearing Joe Martin say that name doesn't make it any better. I mean, in the full trailer for the Fugitive Doctor sets, she's got a longer name,
Yeah, which
like
sounds more
Cosmo's
Time
in.
Lordy.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I can get with it a little bit. We're getting far too hung up on just the name of a character who's not
I
even in this
mean,
story, but
talking about getting hung up on things. Now, obviously, the placement of the Fugitive Doctor is she pre-Hartnell? Is she season 6B? Because this story uses the Hartnell theme, which people are latching on, and with that breadcrumb, assuming she's a pre-Hartnell Doctor.
hmm,
How do we feel about that? Because for me, I think because it's a 60th anniversary special, you're gonna use like the original theme.
yes, but you'd already used the War Doctor theme the episode before.
Mm.
I mean, I'm not too fussed on placement wise. I'm more just in that zone of I hope she has her own theme in
Yes,
her
I
own
agree.
series. Not because I don't want her to use the Hartnell theme, because I don't want that pre-doc Hartnell Doctor kerfuffle thing, whatever. I just want her to have her own theme because she deserves her own theme. She's
Yeah,
her own
yeah,
Doctor.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. I agree with that.
yeah. Like that's where I stand on that. For this, I think it works for
An
a
anniversary.
anniversary story. Whether she is pre-Hartnell or not is besides the point. I think I prefer it to be ambiguous,
Yes.
and this story sort of leans into that a bit. There's
Mm.
another added mystery there that wasn't on TV about the Fugitive Doctor's memories.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that plays out across her own range. But yeah, on the whole, far from the worst of Once and Future. Pretty enjoyable, but also doesn't make me feel any better about Once and Future as a whole.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it left a better taste than Once and Future probably did a year ago.
Mm.
So I think
But I think
I had
it
fun with
felt
it.
weird geting that back though, because it is
Yeah.
very much picking up where things left off, going back to that
It's
same
straight, it's
style for
directly,
one
isn't it?
story. Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Um,
just having that back sort of reminded me of all the problems I did have with Once and Future, even
oh.
if this episode handled most of them pretty decently.
But we can close the book now. It's done. Don't have to worry
Mm,
about it.
yeah. It just feels like lost potential for the most part.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
this, decent.
Hmm.
Yeah.
You could probably pick it up on its own,
I think
really.
you can, to be honest. I
Yeah.
think it gives you a good flavour of what's to come with the Fugitive Doctor and Bernie Summerfield and Jonathan Carley being
Mm.
exquisite as ever.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I didn't even mention him because he's just so. We've
We're so used to
praised him
praising
so
them.
much this year that, yeah, he's
We've
sort of.
kind of took him for granted with this, you
Yeah.
know. Like you were good,
Sorry,
but Joe
Jonathan
Martin's
Carley.
the focus
Yeah.
here on
You got
this
the
one. Yeah.
shiny new doctor
Yeah.
alongside him, but yeah, just every line brilliant. Wonderful, wonderful actor, wonderful doctor. I can't wait for Unknown Soldiers to come along. But yeah,
That's
as
Coda.
this, that's Coda, the final act. Thank you all for watching. Share your thoughts on Coda down below and Once and Future as a whole. Are you a avid Once and Future defender, or were you like us a bit let down by it as a whole? Yeah, share all those thoughts, and we'll see you next time.
Bye bye.